大家好，欢迎来到 Bluerider ART 台北敦化新馆。我是蓝骑士的创办人 Elsa Wang。今天很荣幸，我们在现场邀请到这一次2025年个展的瑞士艺术家西瑞菲兹《天堂遗落的浪漫》，这是他睽违4年之后来台北做个展。So welcome, Thierry, to Taipei again.
Thank you very much, Elsa.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
And even though we've known each other for a long time, but this is the first time we had the dialogue.
First time here in Taipei, and I'm looking forward to have this dialogue with you.
Yeah. First of all, would you like to describe a little bit about your artist career? How you start? Do you come from an artist family or anything?
Yes, I grew up in Vienna. My mother was an opera singer. On my mother's side, they were all musicians, Philharmonic Orchestra and other orchestra in Vienna. You know, Vienna is a famous city for classical music. Mm-hmm. So I grew up with this background. I myself played cello. And I was early attracted more by painting than by music. So it came up that my father and my mother, they knew a bunch of artists in Vienna. They introduced us to them. We went to the artist studio, and one day I remember Jürgen Messenseer, Austrian artist, he gave me painting stuff and large sheets of paper, and I started painting like him, and I enjoyed that. And after that, my parents brought me to a painting school on Saturday after school, and I went there for almost 3 or 4 years, and we could paint large, because as a kid, usually you get small paper sheets and a box of drawing stuff, but the bigger it is, the more interesting it becomes also for kids. So I was very grateful to my parents that they organized that I could go to this artist studio painting while I was 8 or 9 or 10, and this gave me maybe a good background or a good beginning to appreciate art by myself and to do it. And since that point, I was still painting, more than drawing.
So when did you decide you want to be a professional artist?
First, after school, I went to university studying art history, and I was interested by that. But in the same time, with a friend at university, we started painting graffitis first in the nights in Neuchâtel in Switzerland, having troubles once with the police. Then we got, luckily, a studio from the city, and we started painting forehands. And we took it seriously, so that at some point I was thinking myself, I like to paint by forehands, but I would also maybe paint by myself. You know? He went his way, I went mine, and after a few years later, I started. I made an application for art school, art university. I got accepted there, and I went to art academy for 5 years. And at that point, I knew that will be mine. So I had to struggle at the beginning, because we had teachers very tough. They rejected all what I did, what we did, unless I found something more personal. At school, in art school, they teach you not how to paint, but they try to find inside yourself what comes out of you naturally, you know, which is from our time, not from the past. If you paint today, 2025, you should paint something 2025, not 1990 or 2000. Huh? It's like fashion. Or like even music from today, you know. It was quite difficult at the beginning, because, as you know, as an artist, not easy to start to make yourself.
So, as we all know, you have many collectors in Taiwan, in Asia, and you always mention something about, especially the Silent Wind series, about your childhood with your grandparents or grandfather. Could you talk about the experience that inspired you, the Silent Winds?
As I said, I grew up in Vienna. My mother and my parents were interested in music and art. On my father's side, my grandparents, they had a big farm in Switzerland, in the countryside. I spent a lot of time, especially all the summers and even more, at this place. And my grandfather noticed that I was interested in the way he was working, in farming, but also he showed me a lot about nature, about forests, about his skills, how to collect mushrooms, how to listen to birds, how to feel the nature. And I guess this was a milestone also for, let's say, the Silent Wind series or this landscape we have behind us, inspiring me. He showed me how to listen to nature, how to describe specifics in nature, and I felt a connection. And maybe I took this also as a luggage in my art.
So, in your artist career, is there somebody that influenced you most, like either artists, philosophers, or anyone?
Yes, of course there are artists also from the past and also from today. No, you have to look at the past to understand what's going on today. If you look at the Botticelli, who is a famous Italian artist, you look at his work. But if you're an artist, you also look at details in the work. You try to understand why he painted this. You try to understand his techniques, his skills, and it's always interesting to zoom in some paintings and to find out what interests you the most in a painting. No? Sometimes it's the theme, the subject. Sometimes it's details. And for example, while I mention him, the way he painted grass, the way he painted flowers or natures in a very delicate and sensitive way touched me a lot when I visited his work in Florence. And I've been also very impressed by Peter Doig's work. He's a contemporary artist from Trinidad and Tobago. He's doing very well, and the way he mixed different ways of painting. He paints in oil, but he paints in different styles in one painting. Also interested me a lot. For example, he puts a very strong strokes some places, then he's always like aquarelle painting in the same painting. So painting becomes very vivid, very lively, and very interesting also in details. If you go through the painting, you're going to see technical skills in any place of this painting.
Because lots of collectors, they mentioned when they first saw your work, it doesn't need too much explanations in words. They just feel happiness, they just feel beauty. And as I know you for many years, and you always are cheerful, happy, but I guess artists will go through up and downs when they have something to break through or they have low emotions as well. But you have to be happy to inject your emotion into your painting. And how you manage your emotions to bring so much happiness or cheerful into your paintings?
It sounds a little bit easy, but sometimes, even for professional artists, as I am, painting is a kind of therapy, no? It helps you also to resolve daily problems, emotions. Because why? Because you're gonna start being focused on your work. First you're a little bit fuzzy, you're a little bit lazy maybe, but after a while, when you start painting on your work, you become more focused, more passionate maybe about your work, more aware of what you're doing, and relieved somehow. And since I am somebody who is quite optimistic in my nature and maybe also positive and energetic, I try to include this in the paintings to put my energy, my optimism, and maybe also a kind of strength and power into that. When I was young, colorful in my way of thinking, of dressing up, of painting, and it's still there. And I think my paintings are also powerful because the way I use the colors.
I've been with you to the rural side of Taipei. I found you have a very pleasant or optimistic or friendly personality that people are willing to give you free food or free souvenir and free gifts, and that's something I never get. So I was very curious what kind of magic you have to, you never know these people, but from the first sight, they can talk to you. Even the language is not so fluent, but you are like old friends. So how do you feel about that?
First, I want to say that I'm impressed that you notice details like this. And yes, maybe I have a kind of feeling how to talk to people. I don't know where it comes. My mother is quite open and talks a lot to people and is easy in connections. Maybe I got this from her, but maybe I use it in a more smoother way or not frontal way. So sometimes it's difficult to describe because it's about a kind of spirit first, but also how you talk with the eyes, how you talk with your body, not to push too much, always try to be yourself, but also try to give something from you, but in a way you cannot describe, It's more about sensations and feelings. In art, you try to translate this through paintings or drawings. You try to add a certain mystery or mysticism or feeling in your painting. Maybe this comes from life, or life goes into painting, or it comes from painting going to life. You never know. But it's interesting that you notice this, and you're right. And maybe it's also, as an artist, you have to somehow be yourself, but act also as a sensitive person. And some people, they feel this in a certain way. Never ask for something, but sometimes you get something. Because you give also, maybe secretly, you never know. There are different ways of connection, of talking to people, It's like in love. You don't know exactly how it comes. It's chemistry.
Yeah, it's very impressive because I still remember we went to Jofen together, and there's a post office on the mountain, and you insist you want to, it's a very minor issue, but you insist you want to write 2 postcards to your family and mail them. I was very impressive when you write very seriously and carefully. That was something very impressive. Yeah.
Thank you that you noticed this. I wouldn't know that you noticed this unless you're talking about it now.
Yeah. That's something very special from you. And let's talk about this show. this is the first solo show after 4 years.
Yes.
In Taipei, and we all know you have several series in this exhibition. You bring some new series, and this, especially this Yushan, you specially paint for Taiwan. And I remember when I first talked about this idea with you about Yushan, I think it's a little bit challenging for both of us with such a big scale. The impact was very strong, but it's still your style of Yushan. So can you describe?
Thank you, Elsa, for coming, especially to Geneva, Switzerland, and visited the studio and seeing the progress on Yushan painting. And yes, working with the gallery is working like in a couple, you know. You are dedicated to this person or to this gallery. It's giving and taking, no? And you give me input, and I react on these inputs. You give me ideas, or sometimes even inspiration. What do you think about this, or about this painting? Have you seen this? And then I make my mind, and maybe sometimes I take something out of it. As you ask me to paint maybe a smaller Yushan painting, I say, why not? I'm not used to do landscape paintings, mountain paintings. And I thought that would be an interesting challenge. And then you told me that Yushan painting is very important painting in the culture of Taiwan, of a tradition here. It's also on the $1,000 Taiwanese dollar bill. And it reminds me a little bit, in Switzerland we have a very famous mountain. It's called Matterhorn in German, and this Matterhorn is also the mountain who designed the Toblerone chocolate. And you have the same here in Taiwan with Yushan mountain. You have a very recognizable shape, and I thought it would be interesting to paint a mountain which is very famous, has probably been painted by a lot of painters, a lot of artists, and to paint it in my way, with my spirit, with my techniques, and also with my own interpretation of the mountain. It came up that we did a small one. You thought it was very interesting and asked me then, maybe we could do a bigger one and a very big one. So, and here we are today. We have this large panorama painting behind us. And I think every Taiwanese would probably recognize the mountain. Everyone who knows my painting and my way of painting, or my style, will probably recognize also that this painting could be from me. So I think I'm quite glad to have done this painting, and it's so good that we came to this point, that we had this collaboration, that you gave me the inspiration, because now I'm inspired to paint more mountains.
Yeah, it was very you and very Yushan and very beautiful. So let's talk about the technique.
Yes.
Because people always thought, oh, flowers are simple. Painting flowers can be done by many amateurs or many beginners. But I think it's difficult to be recognized by just painting flowers. And you bring several series. And can you talk a little bit about the difference of techniques you use?
Let's talk about Yushan painting behind us. There are different techniques mixed together. So you're going to have airbrush and spray paint. You have stencils used, natural grass is used, glitter is used, oil painting is used, and aquarelle. And also pens, color pens. So you have at least 8 or 7 different techniques mixed together in this large painting. This brings some interesting results if you know how to mix it. It's like cooking. You have different ingredients, you bring them together. This is also the challenge when you paint with different techniques in one painting. Bring too many techniques in one could be too much. You have to find the right balance. And other paintings, like the rain garden paintings, the psychotropical paintings who are displayed here in the gallery, are different techniques. This rain garden paintings is a wet-in-wet technique. That means that you paint wet flat, and then you're gonna work on these still wet paintings. You can work 2 or 3 days on these paintings. After that, it becomes more difficult or quite impossible. The challenge in these paintings is that what you put on the painting, on a wet painting, you cannot take off. Here in these paintings, you have a kind of chance to change things. It's also not easy, not difficult, and as you know, professional artists, they don't use erasure usually. Erasure you use only if it's a technique. You don't use it to erase something. You change, but you don't erase. Same here. So you don't erase, you change. But here, in this wet and wet technique, it's different. You cannot change. You have to, like in classical aquarelle painting, what's on the paper will not disappear. Same here. What's on the wet canvas cannot be removed. So it's a kind of inner strength you need, concentration, tactics, like chess playing, where I'm gonna do the next strike, where I'm gonna next brush, stroke, what I'm adding, what is missing, and it's a kind of balance. You know, walking on a thin line, try to find a balance on the painting, color resonances, elements, and as soon as you think it's ready, it's almost ready. As soon as you do one drop too much or one stroke which was not important to these paintings, you know, hop, that's it. Now I have to stop. If I don't, I'm gonna do something which I don't like. So, and when you have a little bit of instinct, painting instinct and skills, you know the painting is good now, finish. You can see the old masters or even younger old masters like, take Picasso because famous example, he was very skilled in his paintings, and you could see in videos, in little movies he did, or even if you look at his paintings, that he decided very quickly, that's it. I'm no comparer to Picasso, but I would say, as an artist, you should know when you're ready, when the painting is finished. And that's also a skill.
Can we say it's a decisive moment?
Decisive moment, and a moment of relief also.
Okay.
And sometimes a moment of satisfaction.
Wow. Sounds great. And colors. There are so vibrant, so many layers of colors in your painting. And it's even more than our real world, I think.
Yes.
And I was wondering how you saw these colors, or it's in your head?
Interesting way of talking about that. I like it. I like it. And you're right. Probably everybody is looking at things in his own way, and all other don't know. But you never know. You just can compare. You can see. In the past, we have the feeling that everything was black and white, because we see black and white photos. Gratefully, we have also paintings from the real past in colors, but you still have the feeling that was not that colorful. Even if you see old master paintings, even ancient Greek paintings who are going to be restored was very vivid color. I mean, colors were expensive at that time. But in our days, we have the chance that to have color, shape, and radiation, which is very different from the past, and also colors like oil colors or lacquer colors are very vivid. You visited me at my studio in Geneva.
Yeah.
And you could see that next to my studio are two rivers, the Rhone River, which is very famous in Europe. It's very close to the studio. You could see in the summer people swimming in the Rhone, and it's a quite colorful ambience. I would say perception is also what surrounds you, no? Also color perceptions. And I think in my painting, color is an asset. It's strong and participate to put energy in my compositions. You talked about flowers, and it's true that I try to paint my flowers in my way, which is a little bit different than other way of painting flowers. And putting so much vibrant colors in them is also maybe a kind of signature of mine. But I feel that it's necessary to have these colors. Working with colors is quite difficult because you have to balance the colors in the composition. You have to find the right correspondence. The complementary colors are working together but against each other also. So you have to find the points in the composition that brings everything together. And at the end of the painting, you have harmony. Composition harmony, but also color harmony.
Maybe I should put this way, not real flowers. Some of the flowers are surreal, or they are imagination, little tiny stuff. And in your painting also, not only real flowers, surreal flowers, and movement like music in your painting. That's something very special too.
Yes. Today we live also in an environment where we have a lot more inputs than maybe 20, 30 years ago or the past generation had. No? Not only we have the social medias, Instagram, you can enhance the colors on Photoshop. You have the music everywhere. You are surrounded by sensitive textures in supermarkets, in shopping malls. You're listening to music. You smell perfumes were diffused by diffuser. Everything is really appealing, and you can almost taste it. And maybe this is also part of my painting here, of my work, that you are invited to see, to feel, to smell maybe even, and to respond in a certain way, which we hadn't maybe 20 years ago. So maybe this is also the result of our time. And to answer your question, the balance, the composition, the movements in the painting comes maybe also from a music background, something melodic. Yeah. In music, you have music harmony. It can be compared to swinging forms, and maybe the idea of flowers, because these flowers, they don't exist. They're just of my imagination. I don't paint flowers after books or after nature. Reminds, of course, vegetables, flowers, or even water worlds. I like that, or more cosmic elements, and mix up together offers a new world. And in this world, there are moments, music, and something like feelings you cannot describe, besides the possibility maybe of painting.
It was a lot of details, temperature, movement, smell, colors, a lot of life memories in your painting. It was amazing and beautiful. So we use the word romance, fallen from heaven. And I wish us success. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you very much, Elsa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.